Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. I feel like you can hear the detoxing of the eclipse in my voice. I'm feeling pretty good today, waking up on this Monday morning. However, my body is still feeling like it's out of it. It's heavy. It's processing all of the energy from this weekend's eclipse. And remember, we had Mars in Cancer to add to the eclipse energy. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but I feel like the same. Some of my friends I talk to are like, I just feel exhausted, but our mind is ready to go. Like, my mind is ready to go. I'm ready to do this episode, but my body is like, oh, I swear you could have used a crane to take me out of bed this morning. Okay, so yesterday we had Venus moving into Cancer, and if you remember on last week's episode, I said I would talk a little bit more on this week's episode because we were running out of time. Today, when we wake up, the moon's going to be in Sagittarius, but then this evening at 7:32 p.m. on the East Coast, the moon will move into Capricorn, so it will get a little bit more serious tonight, but in a good way. Tuesday, we got the sun conjoining Uranus in the sun at Taurus, where Mercury retrograde, where Mercury is still retrograding. Thursday, Mercury retrograde sextiles Saturn. And on Friday, we got Venus trining Saturn in Pisces. I'm liking this week. I think this is a good cool down week after the eclipse. Or maybe since this past eclipse was kind of a cool down, let's say that it's a little bit of we're going to start feeling a rebirth. Like, you're in the middle of that March horrible weather and you're starting to see those little flowers pop through the ground. That's how we're going to be feeling this week. Now, before I get into the astro updates and the details of all of that, I want to talk about the solar eclipse in the salon last week because it was so obvious. And, I love when it's really obvious in the salon to share with you guys. It was really kind of wild, especially on Friday was a wild day in the salon. If you followed me on Instagram, you saw me post that. So the salon was slammed right away, like slammed with a ton of people, ton of colors. I mean, we were running out of chairs, and we're always grateful for that, obviously, I'm sure. However, it didn't run, it eventually worked out and ran smooth, but it wasn't without a bunch of hiccups and a bunch of sort of aggressive energy. Okay, so first, we have someone that works at the salon who is an older gentleman. He's been there for an extremely long time, and so he has a much older clientele as well. And they are weekly people. And this hairstylist, somehow, the way he works, he'll just tell people to just come in. He won't even make their appointments. He's like, just come in. His clients have been doing it with him like this for many, many years. And there's these two clients that come in at the same time almost every week, and they don't really talk or anything. And so my clients there, we're all kind of witnessing this. This is the first thing. And so the first woman comes in, and I don't know, she might be 85, I think. And she said, hey, our assistant says you need to get shampooed. And she's like, well, he doesn't know this, but I hated what he did with my hair, and I'm making him do highlights. And he was like, and she's like, okay, well, I need you to come back first and let me figure out what you're going to do with him, And then there's another woman who I guess was there earlier, and then he couldn't take her, so she was there again, and they literally started fighting at the back. We have a special room for the shampoo, and I walked back. My client was back there getting shampooed, and they started fighting. They were like verbally, obviously, not physically. And the other one I want to say is maybe 70, and they were like, well, you're always here, and you always get in front of me at the sink. I don't know who you think you are. And they were going back and forth. I was like, I can't even handle this right now. The day is already crazy. I cannot even handle this, but also I was cracking up. And actually by the end they worked it out. However, the other one was really still mad, and instead of avoiding it, she was avoiding the hairstylist, she was then kind of letting anyone else in the salon who wanted to hear had to hear. Then I had a client who has some Aries placements. This is 10 minutes later. I'm with another client putting on her color, and someone that I don't know comes in and says, hey, your client just fell a couple, not outside of the salon, but maybe 5 stores up from the salon, walking down to the salon. And they're not sure. She's not sure if she can come get her hair done. I'm like, oh my God, when I finish putting this color on, I will go check on her And then by the time I finish the color, she comes wobbling in. She's got a bad knee. Her hand is bleeding. I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, I'm getting my hair done. And I was like, her husband's like, do you want to go to the hospital? Because she's 70, this client of mine. And she's like, no, I need to get my hair done. I am getting my hair done. I was like, this is such, and if you remember it, I said last week, especially for certain, Cancer placements, Scorpio placements, Aries placements, make sure, watch yourself physically because this can happen. And like right out of the salon, busted. But she wasn't letting that stop her, which is a very strong Aries placement too. She was like coming to get her hair done, even though that cement kind of won. She's getting that hair done no matter what. Of course, the whole day I was 25 minutes behind. And again, everyone in the salon was like extremely worn out, but with a lot of energy. The body was worn out, the mind was on, but we were all by the end of the day like able to laugh, laugh about a lot. And throughout the week, I actually had a ton of clients who brought up childhood trauma without even me like not instigating. And sometimes we'll just get on the topic. And, most of my clients, we do have this really intimate kind of therapeutic value conversation within them, but they were just on their own. And even some clients who normally don't go that deep with me were like talking just about various traumas or, things that upset them in their childhood or things that their mother had done that pissed them off. So that's how that showed up. There was a few other stories, but those were like the hot topics. And, I like to share with that. But I was like, this is the most eclipse day in the salon ever, like Scorpio eclipse day in the salon ever. Whew. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Let's get into the astrology of the week. Okay, so I think this week you're really going to feel the biggest shifts tomorrow when the sun conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. And we're already feeling it a little bit last night, and we're going to be feeling it strongly until Thursday morning, Thursday evening. But the biggest time being tomorrow, well into Wednesday, are going to be the strongest days. And right away, something that came to me last night, which was really interesting, is an announcement of a baby that catches you by surprise. That was like one of the first things when I was writing things out. And so whether a baby is born and you didn't even realize someone was having a baby, or maybe a baby comes a little bit earlier, announcements of someone being pregnant. Again, it was sun, we look at our life path, our power, someone coming into this world. And Uranus is something that is chaotic, sudden, bringing change. And so I feel like in the sign of Taurus, where Mercury retrograding in the sign of Venus of children, like a very surprise announcement, someone catches you off guard with saying, hey, I'm having a baby, or hey, this baby's here now, or hey, something is happening. It's important to remember when the sun conjuncts Uranus, we still have Mercury retrograding in Taurus. This is happening in Taurus. So this is going to, if you haven't yet ran into anyone over Mercury retrograde that sometimes we talk about this happening, whether an ex, family, lover, friend, tomorrow, Wednesday, or this week will definitely be the week that will happen. And I break down a little bit of what signs I think that will happen more so. But run in with a relative on your mom's side. Okay, so we're looking at your mom's side right now, running with especially because we got Venus, Taurus's host planet, now in the sign of Cancer, the mother's, side. So I'm saying the relative on a mother's side. Maybe you're having some healing, some reconnecting with some relative on that side. You could also right now have an ex-friend that you haven't really heard from, you haven't really vibed with, you guys just sort of lost connection. And I think that is more likely for my Cancer risings and my Capricorn risings. You guys are probably going to feel all of a sudden you're going to see the friend come out of nowhere that you had as a childhood, or again, maybe it was a couple years ago, but you guys are going to have some of that surprise friend contacting. I can tell you that. We can have a chaotic work ending and really just feel over it and start putting in real work for a new path quickly. Like something happens, maybe it's in your own mind, because with Uranus, you look at chaotic energy and sudden changes and you're like, I can't do this anymore. Maybe there's like a work fight or a work shift, or just within yourself, and you say, I cannot do this anymore. I'm over it. And sometimes we need that final fire, I'm so effing over it, to then explode and really put the work in. And, when we're looking for new jobs, we're trying to finish up projects, we're finishing up work, we can take our time. And especially when looking for jobs, if you're in limbo, like, I don't know if I should leave this job, maybe I should stay here, maybe I should go there. Sometimes a chaotic shift, like a chaotic, like, bam, something happens out of your control, can force you to actually put in like solid work, that energy where you know that you're getting a new job, nothing is stopping you, you're finishing it, and then you get it done. So that sort of energy, I think, will come. Because remember, the sun rules our life path and our life plots and our life journeys within that, and definitely rules, with Mercury retrograde being there, the workplace and the work day and what we do for life. And as I was writing this out, I don't have a horoscope episode this week, but I think because I've been very like looking on horoscopes and I've been working on those, like now when I'm writing these out, some stuff is just coming. And I really feel that for my Leo risings, because this is happening in your 10th house of career. So really being like, I'm done. I'm ready to take this off, take this over. But that can be true for a lot of my other placements out there. Communication breakthroughs with love, that comes after large chaos, but also communication with deep understanding. So love and deep understanding, but comes after, I can't believe that you did that to me. You had to tell the truth to someone, probably, I feel will happen. Like damn, I can't lie anymore. I can't like hide that. And now I have to tell the truth. After that truth breakthrough, because maybe you're afraid to speak the truth or speak how you really feel, and there's a little chaos in that energy, comes love and deep understanding. Okay, I understand now, after we kind of fought it out a little bit, why you did that. I understand with an open heart how you feel about that type of stuff. And a sudden change in your day-to-day movements, like finding out your job is moving a building, and maybe it's a little less convenient because, Uranus is typically a malefic planet, they classify that as a little bit more of a malefic planet. So with Mercury retrograde there, it's not going to be, my office is shutting down and moving 2 minutes around my house. It could be more like my office is shutting down, it's another half hour further, and I got to drive through Jersey or some shit like that. So not super convenient, but you get it figured out. Now, my Taurus placement, since all of this is happening in Taurus, I feel, again, like I'd said earlier, if you haven't had someone reach out to you, this will. And I think my Taurus placements are really going to feel this. So an old coworker, could be a lover, a friend, a family member, will come onto your path and offer to align you a little bit. They're going to come out of nowhere and say, hey, I got this new idea for you. Or, hey, I got this new deal. I got this new, idea. Something is coming out and it's going to be beneficial for you. It's going to help, and it's going to lead you in, and it will play out over the next year when Jupiter moves into Taurus, which is happening next week. So again, for my Taurus placements, it's going to be an old friend, coworker, boss, family, lover. Someone's going to say, hey, I'm coming out of nowhere, but like I have this resource and I want to help you with this resource. And again, you're going to really watch that resource and that help play out over the next year when Jupiter moves into Taurus. I'm so excited about that. It's going to be good. And that's happening next week. Yay. We'll have lots to talk about for that. Now in the collective, I'll say this. This is going to be our biggest transit for this week. Like I said, with Uranus, the outer planet, we really feel it in the collective, and we see it on the collective. So I was kind of wondering, like, what's going to play out in the collective in these next 2 days? And again, with Mercury retrograde happening, it's not going to be super easy, and the Sun conjunct Uranus, we got the nodes there in Taurus. So I could see like a climate change announcement. Something that's a little bit, I know we have climate change announcements like every day, but something that's a little more shocking. Something that you didn't even realize was maybe, we didn't realize was affecting the Earth. Or maybe they're like, oh my God, I found this like super volcano that's going to blow in a year. No, that's a little extreme, Colleen. Hopefully not that one. But you get like what I'm trying to say. All of a sudden, and we're going to have to sort of act fast. I think that's going to be, and I'm just throwing these predictions out there a little bit for fun. These ones, the collective ones, definitely changes in banks again. I hope not, but I feel like we could definitely hear some more banks shutting down or some more financial issues coming out to play. And I also think there might be an announcement of like a surprise business shutting down, something that maybe had been profitable, so no one really saw it coming. Like, wait, why is Wawa shutting down? Wawa does too well. We know it's not Wawa, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, why is this shutting down? That's really surprising and shocking because I thought this was doing well. And it could then come out as like a scandal, maybe maybe the CEO was embezzling money for their gambling problem. So pay attention this week in the collective. And if you in your area, because I know I have listeners all over the world, if any of that comes up, I'd love to hear your stories because then I'm going to be watching the news, and I never watch the news, but I want to see if any of these predictions that came to me last night happen. And if your area, you find any of that, please let me know. I'm curious. Again, as I was writing, I spent a couple hours writing this stuff and I was like, I don't know, why am I getting channeled with all this normally I keep it pretty personal and I don't super go into the collective, but I was being channeled for it. So I figured I'd just put it out there and say it. Okay, so then at the end of the week, again, we got like kind of a chill, relaxed vibe. On Thursday, we got Mercury retrograding, sextiling Saturn. And so when it's sextiles, it's like making a promise. It's the beginning of something. We have Mercury retrograding in Taurus. And we just had a lot talking, so it's coming off of that Sun conjunct Uranus energy, and it's sextiling Saturn. So bringing back old structure and making it work again. When we look to Saturn, we look at our structure, and we look at things that get us disciplined. And the same goes with structure and discipline. And with Mercury retrograde, we're having a relook. We're looking at a second look around. So having a sextile, maybe you could be around your work. With Venus, it could be around your aesthetic, it could be around your health, it could be around relationships. But you see, hey, you know what? I think that this old structure, this old discipline I tried, maybe before, it didn't really work out. I wasn't mentally ready for it at that time, but I'm going to try it again. And you're going to feel a little bit more at ease when you try it again. It's going to have more flow and it's going to kind of make sense to you. And you're going to want to move forward within that. Pulling yourself out of some OCD, allowing things to flow when previously you couldn't do that. With Mercury retrograde, which I love to say, it's in a fixed sign, and my fixed signs, as well as Saturn, they don't like flow. They don't know flow. They get very fixed in their ideas. They get very fixed of how things should be. And it's nice because we have Saturn and Pisces, so it's switching up a little bit of that hardcore structure. And Mercury retrograde is giving that second look. So maybe you were so fixed, like I can't let go, like I have to work exactly, 80 hours a week and I cannot do one less or one over, or every day I have to do this, do this, do this. And now all of a sudden you're allowing yourself, okay, I need to bring some flow into this particular part of my life, and I'm going to allow it and I'm going to begin that flow. And communication blocks will start to disintegrate or disperse, whatever, not disperse, disintegrate, I guess is a word I can use. Communication blocks. And it won't be like a huge bam communication breakthrough, but it will be like they'll start to dissolve a little bit. And again, you'll find more flow within that, and it will be easier for you to speak about what you want, and it's going to be the beginning of some larger communication breakthroughs. Now, at the end of the week, we got Venus in Cancer, Trine, Saturn, and Pisces. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit about Venus in Cancer. When Venus in Cancer, now we're settling into the comfort of our new aesthetic, right? We're moving into the moon sign. And while I was in Gemini, while I was in Taurus, we were finding out lots of things about ourselves and having new open-minded ideas and kind of creating some new aesthetics, some new joys, some new pleasures, and some new understandings of how we express ourselves to the world. And when it moves into Cancer, we're gonna embody that a little bit more, and we're gonna embody it in a comforting way. And we're gonna, our new sort of self-expressions, we're gonna seek comfort from others, a little bit of validation from those we love, and we're going to want security, more security within our relationships, friendships, and we're going to be receiving it a little bit more when it trines Saturn and Pisces. We're going to be receiving, like I said, we want it when Venus is in Cancer, but we don't always receive it. And now with the trine to Saturn, we're going to be receiving it. And I also think this is going to be really big for family healing and forgiveness. Everything comes in cycles. Some cycles, it's about family fighting and family feuds and family trauma like coming up. And then some, it's another cycle after that of family forgiveness and family compassion and family understanding. And if you look at your life, right, your issues with your family come in cycles. It's like, why is it so easy and great with my family and July, but the following year, January to February, it was horrible with my family. And these things come up because everything comes in cycles in our life, because we only really have today. We live in today. So this is going to be a cycle of family healing and forgiving, especially Saturn and Pisces. Saturn doesn't like to forgive. Saturn likes to hold on. Saturn likes to restrict. Saturn likes to block. Saturn likes to stop. But in its sign of Pisces, it embodies a little bit more forgiveness and letting go. And that's what Pisces are good at. They're very good at getting over things to a fault. Most Pisces get walked all over or end up having people that are constantly like, I'm sorry, forgive me, come back in my life. Okay, you're welcome. I'm sorry, forgive me, come back into my life. Most Pisces have that cycle a little bit within them. So this is going to be channeling that in a good way with Venus in Cancer, seeking comfort in the family. Again, especially I feel like around a lot of our female relatives and our female understanding. And we just had Mars in Cancer. It's still there, but it's getting ready to move into Leo. So when Mars was in Cancer, we got brought up a lot of our family issues and trauma around the mother and the female and mothering and things like that. And now when Venus is in Cancer, trining Saturn and Pisces, we're going to be forgiving those now. We felt them, we dealt them, and now comes the forgiveness time. So I think there's going to be, when Venus enters Cancer, it's an automatic harmony for family, or we try to find it, we try to seek it out in our family again, and we try to bring that out of our subconscious. And this is going to really activate that subconscious forgiving and healing. And it might, catch you off guard again. You might end up saying, hey, I'm going to go over to my mom's house, and, your cousin, your female cousin you haven't talked to in years or a year, maybe you two got into a weird tiff last week, is there. And it's just like, okay, we're here, let's face it. And you realize, oh, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not even pissed off anymore. I don't even care anymore. And you're just going to be feeling, or maybe someone's going to reach out to you and finally give you that message of I'm sorry for you, that you need to let go of that resentment. Whew. I feel like I did that really fast. I'm pretty proud of myself. I guess we are getting to the end of Mercury retrograde. I'm not, talking all around. I'm like 21 minutes. That's pretty good. Good job, Colleen. There's a lot of transit. So everyone, per usual, thank you everyone who continues to support me. The best way you can support this podcast, because I'm fully self-supporting, I don't have Patreon, I don't have any of those things, is to rate, review, listen, comment on my social media, share this with a friend, subscribe. And so many of you, my day ones, I say it every week, do it for me. Day in and day out, have been supporting me from the beginning, and I'm forever grateful. And the new people that are doing that, I'm so grateful too. Again, that's the best way to get this podcast out there right now. And I hope everyone, and follow me on social media, Cosmic Colleen across the board, 1C in the middle. Like I said, I sit with this every week. I come up with the transits of the week, but then when I'm out there living it, new messages come to me. New messages are channeled to me, and I put them on TikTok first, and then I'll take some from TikTok and I'll put them on Instagram and Facebook. And so you definitely want to check that out if you want to follow and keep up on the day-to-day with the astrology transits of the week. Well, I hope everyone has a fabulous week. Like I said, up here in the Northeast, it's beautiful. Finally, it's beautiful and it feels good. The sun is shining. I had my son's 7th birthday yesterday, and we had Critter Mike, shout out to Critter Mike. We had all kinds of snakes and spiders. I can't believe I held a tarantula. I was like, no way. But then he kind of just put it on my arm, and I was like, okay, here we go. Better yet to jump into that fear. So that was incredible. But yeah, I hope everyone has a fabulous week. I love you all so much. Thank you and goodbye.